Welcome to This is the Way It Was, a program being put together by the Plymouth Historical Society. I'm lucky enough to have with me today Bob Zelm. I want to thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
We're bringing in people from all over the area that were born and raised in Plymouth area, and you qualify.
I think I do.
Give me some information about when you were born.
1916,
So in 1916 in Plymouth, Wisconsin.
at the cheese factory where we will get into that later, I guess.
Well, we can get in that any time you want. Now,
Well,
your family was in cheese when
That's right.
you were all the time you were growing up.
Yeah.
And I have a picture here. I'm going to start right out if we can cut to that camera for this shot in the Zelm cheese factory.
In 1915 that was taken.
And for many years, your family and yourself knew an awful lot about cheese.
Well, quite a bit.
And tell me about the location of it.
Well, it's where SNR, or Satori Cheese Company, is now,
Mm-hmm.
where the factory part is, not the warehouse across the tracks.
Right.
But that's where you can see how the farmers brought in the milk on wagons with horses.
Yeah. And they had they cooled everything down with spring water, and they had the spring houses on the farm.
Yeah.
And they brought everything in in milk cans.
Well, on the picture it shows some of the bigger cans.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays they don't use that type of can anymore.
No, they don't. And a lot of our people watching don't even remember spring houses.
No.
Because the reason for spring houses was to cool the milk down.
That's right.
And to keep the milk cold until you could bring it into the factory. And so, were you directly involved in the making of cheese yourself?
Oh, yes.
And so you would be out there early in the morning pulling helping dump the milk in?
Dump the milk and running it into the vats
Mm-hmm.
to make cheese a little bit later. Yeah.
Now, I've been to cheese factories where it's mostly automated.
Well, now it is, yes.
But in those times, you had some starter that you would... tell me the procedure of the cheese business.
Well, you'd put starter in to coagulate the milk,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would add, other ingredients
Mm-hmm.
and then you'd have to heat it,
Right.
and it would get thickened in the vat.
And you were continually stirring it as it would thicken.
After it was cut up into very, very small pieces.
And that what we call our curd?
It wasn't curd yet.
Not yet, okay.
Then you'd use a wooden rake
That's what I was looking for, right.
to stir it up.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, then they had what they called an agitator that would circle around the whole vat.
And that's what I remember, right.
Yeah.
And then after the cheese was made, you would package it. Large barrels or not?
No, we put it in 75 to 80 pound blocks of cheese.
Okay.
Some of it was there, some what they call Longhorn, Twins, Daisies, Cheddar. We made mostly all cheddar cheese.
Mostly all cheddar.
That was 75 to 80 pounds.
Now, where did when the cheese left the Zelm cheese factory, where did it go?
Usually down to Borden's. At one time there was C.A. Straubel Cheese Company in Plymouth. It was part of Kraft later on.
Okay.
But on what they call Cheese Road, down beyond the cold storage, the big one, there was 4 or 5 different cheese companies that bought cheese from factories.
Okay, so you would actually sell your cheese to someone who would dispense of it, repackage it, etc.
That's right.
Okay. Now, things changed for you. You're working in the cheese factory. You went to high school in Plymouth, Wisconsin?
Yes.
Grade school here?
All through school.
Is that right? And so the high school was down where Riverview Middle School was? Is that right? Where was the high school?
Where the Lutheran Playground School is now.
That's what I thought. Yeah, down at the Lutheran Church, and that playground was the old...
Grade school and high school.
All in one. And now it's a nice playground, you know.
Well, and at one time, where the city hall stands now, there used to be what they called the H.C. Locke House. That was our kindergarten and first grade.
Oh, I see.
It's an old mansion. It's gone completely now.
Yeah.
But that's where City Hall stands now.
I see. And so you graduated from high school right where the Lutheran Church
No,
parking lot.
I went 1 year to the new school up on what's called Riverview.
Oh,
now.
okay. So as a senior, let's say, you moved
Yeah,
over to the new school,
that's
which
right.
was Riverview,
Yeah,
which is now Riverview Middle School.
that's right.
Now you also went on to some college in the area.
I went to Lakeland College for 2 years.
So Lakeland College, that was a
Mission
pretty young.
House.
That was pretty young college at that time, wasn't it?
Oh no, it was Mission House College at that time.
Is that right? And
That
so-
was started in 1800 and something.
Is that right?
Now it was the college and seminary at that time
Mhm.
when I went.
Mhm.
But the seminary now is in New Ulm, Minnesota.
All right. And Lakeland is simply strictly
It is
college.
Lakeland. Yeah.
And then a year in Madison.
1 year in Madison. My dad got sick, so I had to come home.
And that was in the
43.
1943, and
Well, I came home in 42, but it was
Yeah.
in 43. My dad died.
then actually at that time the cheese factory was sold.
Yeah.
Shortly after
Yeah.
that. And so the Zelm family was no longer in the cheese
No.
business.
No.
Well, tell me about transportation, because I already know a little bit about that. I did a study of Car 26, and you remember some of the transportation during the 1920s and 30s.
Well, when we lived in the corner house there where the factory, well, the house isn't there anymore now.
Mhm.
But we had 2 railroad tracks going past and a streetcar.
Mhm.
And a lot of the streetcar we would take from Plymouth, from right across the road from our house. I had an aunt and uncle on 2 different farms between Plymouth and Sheboygan Falls.
Mhm.
And my grandparents lived in Sheboygan Falls.
And so the streetcar, and I understand a streetcar, it was not a train. It was
No.
a self-driven motorized car
That's right.
that rode the tracks, and it went from Elkhart Lake to Sheboygan.
Well, it didn't go every day to, well, once a day it would go to Elkhart.
Okay.
But as long as they had a rail or a gravel train or streetcar going from the mill or the gravel pit near between Elkhart and Crystal, they had to run a streetcar, passenger car.
Uh-huh. Because a lot of people rode that to work.
Oh yes, to
Yeah.
Sheboygan.
Yeah. Now, when you rode the streetcar, you would stand at the end of your street, and it would stop and pick you up?
Yeah, well, if the streetcar conductor knew that we were coming,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
he'd hold the streetcar up until we got over there
Uh-huh.
because it was just across the road.
Right, right. And you would ride that into Sheboygan
Into
Falls,
Sheboygan
on
Falls.
its way to Sheboygan.
Yeah.
And what was the cost of riding a streetcar?
If I remember, for children at that time, I think it was 5 cents.
Mm-hmm. And so for a nickel, you could ride in and see either your grandparents
Sure.
or stop at various other farms to play.
Well,
As you were
my,
growing up?
my aunt and uncles,
Mhm.
each
Yeah.
had a farm.
And they were dairy farmers.
Yeah.
And so did their milk go to the Zelm?
No, they went to Sheboygan Falls
They sent their milk
because
to
there was
Sheboygan.
because they was a little too far away
Mm-hmm.
to haul their milk to us.
And everybody hauled milk at that time with horses. I would
Yeah,
assume.
we never had a truck then.
Right, right. And so you remember when Car 26 would give you rides, would take people daily, more than once a day actually, to Sheboygan.
Yeah, I can't remember how many trips they made a day, but they didn't go every day or more than twice, I think, to Elkhart.
Uh-huh.
See, and then they turn around, they come into Plymouth and go down Mill Street, where Cornell Motors was.
Right.
There was a track going up Main Street and a track going up North Milwaukee Street. And they'd go up North Milwaukee Street and back down and go into the track by Cornell Motors and turn around that way.
That would be their turnaround, and then
Yeah.
they'd head it back.
Then they headed back.
That had to be a great time. I've seen pictures of downtown Plymouth with the wires hanging
Yeah.
and the track right down the middle of the street.
Well, see, it turned on the corner by Adams Drugstore.
Uh-huh.
And then went up Stafford Street, and then it turned left on what they call Railroad Street,
Mm-hmm.
where the city has a garage now in the old streetcar depot from Plymouth. That's
Isn't that
a
something?
city garage now.
Yep. Yep. And that's all of that stopped sometime in the 30s, though, at the late 30s. The streetcar ended, and you had automobiles after that.
Oh
time.
yes, oh yes.
And actually, automobiles was really the demise of the streetcar.
That's right.
Yeah. But now we should get to the fact that the father passed away, and the cheese factory was sold, and you found a different line of business.
I went in the insurance business.
Now, you did a little insurance business at the same time as cheese.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And how many years did we do the insurance thing?
Well, I just retired 5 years ago.
Right, right. You've been at it. You were at it a long time,
Long time,
in the city of Plymouth
In the
and
city
around.
of Plymouth,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, let's talk about your family. We haven't even brought the family into it yet. You have a couple sons.
I have 2 sons. One just moved back to Plymouth from Indiana,
Mhm.
and the other one lives in Glencoe, Minnesota, just west of Minneapolis.
And they went to school in Plymouth.
Yeah, they both graduated from high school
Mhm.
here. My youngest son graduated from Oshkosh,
Mhm.
and my oldest son graduated at Lakeland.
Oh, so you got a couple college graduates on your hands.
Yeah.
They get too big for their britches sometimes.
Yeah,
That's smart.
that's right.
And we have other family and relatives still in the area, don't you?
I have 2 cousins in Sheboygan Falls, and that's it.
Okay. And so people have moved out and around, and
Yeah, well, there isn't much of my family left anymore.
oh, but we have a lot of great memories
Yeah.
left, I'm sure. Now, growing up, when everyone would gather for the holidays and things, they all gather at your home,
Oh, yes.
and because they would. The uncles and the grandparents that were in Sheboygan Falls would come to Plymouth,
Come to Plymouth to our place.
and you had huge family meals then.
Oh, yes. There'd be, at that time, with all the cousins and the uncles and aunts, there'd probably be 18 or 20 of us.
Yeah, yeah. And
We'd eat in shifts.
that I understand completely. And so, but not only has your family changed, and some have moved to other parts of the country, Plymouth has changed.
Oh, yeah, oh, tremendously.
When we no longer have the cheese factories that we had when
No.
you were growing up. There were many cheese factories in the area when you were growing up.
Oh, there was an awful lot of them. Well, at one time, there was 210 cheese factories in Sheboygan County.
Well, yeah, we brought a book in here, and I'll just hold it over next to Bob here if I can. We can get a picture of it. This is called The Cheese Factories of Sheboygan County.
That's right.
And the Zelm factory is in here, I guarantee it.
Yes.
But there were more cheese factories in Sheboygan County than possibly any county in the state of Wisconsin.
Anywhere in the world, I understand.
This was the cheese capital of the world during that era,
See,
where everybody made cheese here in Sheboygan, and we
Yeah.
actually priced it very close to here, didn't we?
in fact, the cheese exchange was in Plymouth for many years. That
Yes.
set the price of cheese for the whole world.
Yeah, yeah. Now, not only has that changed, but the grocery store business, the marketing of the cheese, the businesses in downtown Plymouth have all changed and migrated in different directions.
Oh, tremendously.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
But the memories of doing the cheese business are fresh in everyone's mind.
Oh, yes.
People still talk about Plymouth being the cheese capital. And we
Well,
still
of
have a
course-
lot of cheese in the
Of
area.
course, there was always an argument there between Monroe and Plymouth.
Oh, there was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monroe said they were the cheese capital, and Plymouth said we were the cheese capital. So,
And I don't know why we had so many cheese factories here in Sheboygan County, but maybe heritage.
well, I
People
think
just-
there was more family farms at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't have as many cows. If they had 40, 50 cows at that time, that was a lot of cows.
That was an awful lot of cattle, yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for being on.
Well, thank you.
We've had Bob Zelm on. He's been knows a lot about the cheese business. Was in insurance business for many years in Plymouth, and hopefully he'll be around Plymouth and enjoy all of what we have in Plymouth for many years to come.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. This again has been This Is the Way It Was, a program put together by the Plymouth Historical Society. I want to thank you for watching.
Okay.